To begin with, let me introduce Maya Angelou. She's no more now. She had been an American of African descent. She was very bold and she rebelled against the established American white dominance. She underwent so many problems. She faced lot many difficulties during her lifetime. She took it as a challenge to say that she was an independent woman. She was strong, she was bold, and no white oppressor could do anything to her. But it was not that easy for her. So the ordeal she went through are her fellow colored people brought to the limelight by many people over there, the colored people. Now, one among those people was this woman. The present poem tells about the bold attitude, the strong message she wants to give to her white oppressors. Sometimes she taunts them, sometimes she asserts herself with a strong message that they cannot control them, they can no more oppress them, and she has been a model, dream of her fellow colored people. Now, stanza 1. You may write me down in history with your bitter twisted lies. You here mean white oppressors. Me here mean her fellow colored people, that is black people of African descent. Now she says, it has always been the attitude of the white people to have control over the slaves. They wanted to keep them under their strong control. They never wanted to give them freedom. Therefore, whenever anybody went against them, a voice against their oppression was crushed. That voice was crushed. And many allegations were done against those people, those who voiced against the white domination. And they were maligned with their twisted lies that these people are rogues, these people are anti-nationals. They were branded as anti-nationals. So she says, even if you do that, we know that you do that. You may trod me in the very dirt. That is, you want to keep those colored people in very bad conditions. Trod. Trod here means step on something and keep under the control. But still, like a dust I rise. So beautifully she has given here. Dust, dirt, on one side it is a negative shade. It has a negative shade, negative connotation here. And a rising dust. That means movement upwards. She rises like dust particles. That is the message she has given here in the beginning of the poem. Second stanza. Does my sassiness upset you? Now she is asking a question. She is taunting rather. What is she is taunting? Her sassiness, that means being jovial or very active. Whether that upsets them. Because the whites never wanted these blacks to be jovial or be in very good conditions. They never wanted that. So now if they see any colored person to be happy or very active, that they won't take it. They won't digest it. So she is taunting that. Why are you beset with gloom? That means whenever they see something good in any colored person, they would be very gloomy. That means they don't feel good about it. Rather, they'll be very gloomy. How could that these slaves be so jovial? Because I walk like I have got oil wells pumping in my living room. So this sentence says that she acts like a rich person, lives like a rich person, That doesn't mean she is rich. She acts or she shows herself up as though she is very rich. Just because a colored person is happy, that makes these white people gloomy. Third stanza, just like moons and the suns. See, sun is only one actually, but still she says here, like moons and suns with the certainty of tides. So it is certain that the movements of these celestial bodies bring high tides and low tides, that we know it. So like that, under the influence of some people, strong people rather, there are tides sometimes. Like hope springing high, still I rise. So sometimes the hope of getting liberty, hope of getting good life springs up. So she also rises up. Did you want to see me broken? That means it is very natural that the whites always wanted these people to be in weak position. They never wanted them to be strong. Therefore, whenever they found someone very strong, they wanted them to be very weak. Here, what the normal white people expect, that they should be broken, they should be always weak. Bowed head, lowered eyes, that means always submissive. Whites wanted the slaves to be always submissive. Shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. She asks, do you expect this from a colored man? You always expect a colored people to be crying, to be weak. Shoulder drooping means showing weakness. So they want always to be like this. The situation should be always like this. If something opposite happens, then the whites cannot tolerate this. Does my haughtiness offend you? And now she asks the oppressor, whenever she shows some haughtiness, that means boldness, that definitely offends them, because they never want any colored man to be haughty or bold. They want them to be always submissive. Don't you take it awful hard? That means you don't take this as hard. She is advising the oppressor not to take these things seriously. So be cool. This will happen, she says. Because I laugh like I have got gold mines digging in my own backyard. So having gold mine in her own home. We should not take this literally. It shows that she is as happy as a rich person. You may shoot me with your words. That means you may abuse me. You may revile me. You may cut me with your eyes. Cut with the eyes means look with contempt. So you may kill me with your hatefulness. That is, you may weaken me with your hatred. But still, like air, I rise. In that case, she says, again, she will rise higher and higher like air. So there is no question of going down now. It's only going up. Does my sexiness upset you? Now she asks another question. She knows that she is very beautiful and very sexy. So she is confident of that. But normally, white people take it granted that slaves are ugly. there is no beauty in them. Therefore, she gives this hint that she is sexy. So, does my sexiness upset you? Then when any white person sees this black beauty, he is upset. So she asked that question, does it affect you? Does it come as a surprise? No, see, same thing I told you. It comes as a surprise for them because they take it granted that all the slave women are ugly. So if there is anyone who is beautiful, they can't digest it. That I dance with, I have got diamond at the meeting of my thighs. Such a bold writing it is. Meeting of the thighs, she says. That means her womanhood. That means she is very proud of her womanhood. That means she considers this as her treasure. Her beauty, her sexy look as her treasure. So very bold of her to write this line. Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. That means when you go through the history, nothing good has been written about the blacks. The history of blacks is always black. Therefore, she says she would come out of that history. It is history of shame, she says, because it's all full of lies. Because the people, those who wrote, were the oppressors. Therefore, it is full of lies and shame. So, she wants to come out of it. Up from a past that is rooted in pain, I rise. So, now she wants to come out of that painful life of any slave. Simply to say that she wants to come out of the slavery. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide. So nice it is. She says blacks are good in number. So they are not less. They are there everywhere and they have spread all over. So blacks are in majority. So it is like an ocean. Welling and swelling, a bear in the tide. Welling and swelling. Welling means whenever the water comes up to the brim and falls down. Swelling means coming up. So it is like that. So her spirit also are now coming up and they are spilling out. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Now she says that blacks have been in the state of terror. They lived in the state of constant fear because the oppressors made their life like that. Now she wants to come out of it. Those are the nights for her. Now from that night she wants to come out into the daybreak. That means morning. That means light of the day. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear and I rise. So clear here means devoid of all those miseries. She is hopeful of good life. Life of independence, liberty. Bringing the gift that my ancestors gave. That means now she wants to adopt all the good things that her predecessors have given her. That is, she wants to go in the path of the people, those who rebelled against the white oppressors. She wants to follow those people, those who wanted good life for the colored people. Those are her ancestors, she says. So she wants to follow them because they were pioneers. I write, I am the dream and hope of the slave. Now, boldly she says that in the present scenario, she is one among those people, those who stand for liberty, those who are the hope of those oppressed colored people, are those who are the icons of the colored people, are those who lead them to liberty and good life. So she says she is one among them. This assertions is very very important. I rise, I rise, I rise. So repeatedly she says, so this shows the strong will to rise above the present situation. Struggle hard to come out of the situation which is holding them back from the progress.